So, last episode, I committed to 2 more episodes and we'll be done. And I'm like, can I do it in 2? Can we do it in 2? I think we can. I think we can. Uh, are they gonna go Sure we can, but they might be 8 hours long. I don't know. Hell, no, no, no. I think we got this. I think we're in a really good spot. I think we can. I think we can wrap this up now. I just want to say today, still really focused in this video on the JavaScript. Okay. We're going to get back to touching up the HTML and CSS and doing some dynamic HTML as the last piece in the next video. But this one, we're going to focus on wrapping up all of the functional pieces so that at the end we have something that works. Okay. As a D&D player, we use a lingo to talk about what dice to roll and how many of them. So we'll say 6d6, which means roll 6 six-sided die. Or dice. I can't get that one right. Or we'll say roll 2d20. It's usually more information, like take the highest or something like that. But roll 2d20. And so we would roll 2d20s. So that's holding 2 of the dice that are 20-sided and rolling them, and we might get 19 and 17. Okay, so I want to take that piece of lingo as part of how this app works. That's as far as we're going to go. So we'll take that in. We have to parse it at that point. Okay, so what does that mean to parse it? Well, we're going to look at it. We're going to use our knowledge of how the system works and try to contextually do something with that information. And once we get that working, we'll be good. So there's going to be 2 new principles that we're going to talk about from JavaScript today that allow us to do that. First of all, we've got to solve a bug that exists, which I'll show you in a moment. And then we have to do some contextual looping based on the information we get. So let's jump into it. Let's have some fun, and let's wrap up this last piece of JavaScript functionality, and then we can have some fun making this app look good. All right, here we go. I just dance to those all day long. Okay. Focus, Brian. We gotta get this done. Everyone's counting on us. Okay, there's some problems with our application. There's a moment where it breaks. Let me show you. Let me just show you this awesomeness. I just put SDF in there, and we got nan. Not non, the food, but nan, like not a number. Okay. Yes, SDF is not a number, and if we tried to roll a dice with that many sides, what did we expect would happen? I don't know. We're gonna go do it. We're gonna fix this right now. Okay, so it's really easy. It's a really easy fix. What we're gonna do is come in here. We're gonna say if one more thing to do here. We're gonna do we gotta do that, and then we have to do that thing. So it needs to happen in the dice roll piece. Okay, so right here in the dice roll, we're going to add some protection for ourselves. All right, so let's, real quick though, I keep forgetting. I went through this and we need to slow down and go through this real quick. So dice roll calls dice roll with the user input, which could be 6. Comes in here to random, passes that 6 onto the max, passes it into here so that it can do this math for us with 6 and give us 4. All right, now this return here returns it back to here. So now here is 4. So whatever this returned is going to go right here. So it was 4. So then we'll plus 1, which is 5. Now this return, we'll drop that value back here and we'll log it. We'll drop it in there and log it. All right. So that's how that flow works. If that didn't make sense, please watch that a few times. Like rewind it right now and do it a couple times before we move on to the next piece. Okay. So next piece is what if number of sides is an aside? Okay, what if the app is broken? What if the user provides something that doesn't work for us? All right. So we're gonna handle that right now. If parse int, I'm just writing some stuff and we'll talk about all of this real quick. Parse int number of sides equals nan, return -1. Okay, so let's talk about this whole chunk we just wrote. So if statements, conditional, if something is true, all right? Our booleans, right? So this part right here, true. If this is true, do what is inside of here. Else, otherwise, do what is inside of here. And this tool is pretty powerful. It has a lot of additional things we can do with it. But this is its default structure, more or less. And this is as complex as we're going to get with it today. So for dice roll, if this is true, return -1. Otherwise, roll the dice. All right, let's just see what that does real quick for us. So if I come over here, refresh this, we clear this, and I just roll the dice, doesn't matter. We're going to get -1 every single time because this is true. Now, a little while ago, we had some contextual idea in there. So let me get that, and we'll go forward again and drop it back in there. So if parse int if number of sides equals nan, then do -1. Otherwise, roll it. Figure it out. If it's a number, let's do it. So let's see how it handles this. So if I say 3, we get 3. If I say a, we get none. We're still going to roll it, huh? Parse int of a. I think there's an is and non function, if I remember correctly. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so now we get that -1. If we roll a 3, we get a value. So this might be bad logic, all right? I'm not exactly sure where we want to go with this. We could return not a valid dice roll. Okay, so what is happening here is we're calling a function called isNan. We're also calling parse int and number of sides. So parse int says, give me some stuff and I'll see if I can make it a number. So like 3, we give it 3 and it's like, oh, I can make that a number. So then it makes it a number and we ask the question, is it nan? Is it a number? And we go, it is. It is not nan, it is a number. So then we skip this and we roll the dice. Otherwise, if we drop a in here, it goes, oh, I can't do that. It's not a number. And then it goes, is it nan? And we go, yes, it is. So that's true. So then we do this one. So that's what's happening there. Okay. So when we return this value down here to just console log it, this is what we'll see. Already saw that with the negative ones, so I'm not going to roll back and do that. But now we have a little bit of protection in case we provide something that's not a number. Now we get to the tricky stuff. So they're going to provide something like 3D6, and we're going to roll that. So what we need to do is first we're going to take the user input right here when we get it, and we're going to say to lower case. So we're going to make sure that it's all little letters. All right. So if I save it and we go and type in, now it's big letters up here no matter what, because we may do that. That's a whole bunch of little letters, or a whole bunch of capital letters. We won't be able to see this because I don't have a. Let's get rid of this piece real quick. So we just want to see the user input real quick, because that's what matters right now. So if we refresh this, so here's a whole bunch of capital A's, and not be like that. Those are always capital, but anywho, if I roll it, they're all lowercase. That's what this is doing right here. It's making it lowercase because that's going to be important. Now we're going to use a method on a string to help us do something. So we're going to say let number of roles equal user input dot split. So user input is a string, right? But that string is actually an object because in JavaScript, everything's an object. And there's a value called, or a method called split, where we say, hey, split this up based on a letter. Now we could have, if you didn't know this, you would have had to Google it and find it out. But because of the interest of time and stuff, I'm just giving us these little tidbits here. But number of roles is splitting it off of this, okay? And then a piece of information that we never talked about is how do we access in a list these pieces of information? So here's alligator, bat, and cat. Well, to access them, I do a square bracket. If I want to get alligator, it's 0. It's in the first position, and we will start by referencing that as 0, then 1 and 2. So if I come in here and do 1, and I come in here and do a 2, ooh, then we will get alligator, bat, and cat. Like we will grab the bucket, if you will. This is the 0 bucket. This is the 1 bucket. This is the 2 bucket. So we'll go to those places and grab those and show them here. What split does right here is it takes our string. So I'm gonna just put an example below it. So split does this. It takes 2D6 and it outputs in an array 2 and 6. All right, so if I want this first one for the number of roles, I'm going to just do a 0 to get the number. And then if I want number of dice sides, it's going to be the second pouch. Right, so, or pouch number 1, right? So 0 and 1. So that's what split's doing. Now, what I'd like to do is I'm going to take this piece of information, put it here. I can use a comma and put this piece of information here. And let's go see what that looks like. Now, you'll notice I just write a little bit, and then I go see what happens. I write a little bit, and I go see what happens. Because if you write a whole bunch and it all breaks, you don't know it broke. But if I write just little bits and then go see if it works, I can follow that. So that's something that's taken me a long time to get good at. You as a beginning developer will probably struggle with that one a lot. You'll try and be like, I know what I'm doing. I'll write a whole bunch of code, and then it doesn't work. I still do it sometimes. But the smaller bits you can write and go check if they work, the better off you are. So I'm going to, in here, type 3d6. There it is. All right. So I'm going to clear this. Oh, first of all, see, alligator, bat, and cat. It's awesome. All right. So if I roll that 3d6, we get a 3 and a 6. So now we need a way to contextually control rolling the dice 3 times. All right. So we have number of rolls, which is 3 times. And then we have number of dice sides, which is the roll we're going to do. So how do we do something a number of times? Well, that concept is called looping. I want to loop through and do something a number of times. And so which one to choose? There are so many different options. I think we're going to choose the easiest one for us to understand right now. And that is a while loop. So while some condition is true, please, what I'm about to do, please don't actually do like save or run this. We can do something. This will break your computer if you do this right now. Well, your Chrome. It won't break your computer, but it'll break Chrome. So basically, while this is true, do this thing. Do it over and over and over and over again until it's true. So we're going to say while number of dice rolls is greater than 0, then we're going to say do a dice roll here. And we will grab this console log and wrap it in a console log. We'll get rid of this one here. Okay, so while number of rolls is greater than 0, do this. Well, number of rolls is always going to be greater than 0, right? Because it's 2 or 1 or 7. Okay, so we need to do something to make it get lower. So after we do a roll, we will say number of rolls, which I just realized we are also not parse inting this. Goodness gracious, we gotta parse into this too. So this would be a good place to add one of those if statements. You know, if you wanted a little bit of homework, adding an if statement here to protect this would be good. And also maybe adding one here. Could be, oh no, we did that up here. So now we got number of rolls. And we're going to we're going to set it equal to itself. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you a shortcut right here. I'm just gonna say minus minus. I'm just gonna say, hey, every time this line runs, -1 from it. Right? So while it's greater than 0, do this and then -1 from it. So if it was 2, it would now be 1. So it would say do it again. And now it's 0. So it would not do it after that. And that creates our loop. So if we save this, we come over here, we refresh, and we clear this, and I say 3d6, and we roll it. Number of sides is not defined. Cool. Let's go look at our code and see what that means. Number of sides. It's not number of dice sides. Number of dice sides. Number of sides is not, but number of dice sides it's. That's great. So we'll refresh this. We'll try it again. 3d6. And we will roll it. So we got 2 6s and a 3. We got 1 6 2, 5 4 3, 3s, 6 5. Okay, so there are our results. Now, what we're going to do is put the results in an array to kind of help us wrap this up, and then we'll be done. And then we just need to do something with the results later. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say let results equal an empty array, right? So now rather than doing results like that, we're going to say results of the dice rolls dot push. And then after this, we will do console.log results. All right, so now we're taking that results and pushing it into the array. So this is an empty array, and every time we loop through, we're just going to take the result and put it in there. That's what this push does. It's like pushing something into a bag. You got a backpack, it can hold 5 things, and you're going to shove all 5 things in there, and maybe a 6th one if you can. We're going to push it in there. So an empty array, we're going to push stuff into it. So let's see what this looks like. So if I refresh this, 5d6, and we roll that, we get an array that is a 5, 2, 2, 6, and a 6. I can roll it again, and we get 3, 6, 4, 5, 3. So again, we're rolling 5d6. So we're getting 5. So this feels good. Feels like it's working. There could be bugs in here. You could put in different values and things could break. I'm not checking for all of those things. I showed you how to do it kind of a little bit here. It'd be a good idea for you to learn more and stretch that way. But this is, again, we're just going for a taste of JavaScript. Just a little bit. So we had an if statement, so we learned a little bit about that. We've got looping mechanisms so that we can do things iteratively. We've got functions. We've got a whole bunch of different variable types. I feel really good about what we've covered. There's still another little piece of JavaScript we'll cover in the next video, but basically we're going to kind of transition more to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to wrap up this app. Because next episode will be the last one in this series, and you will have gotten a really good taste of JavaScript and how this all works. So until then, let's catch you in the next episode. I'm trying to like sign off. I'm like trying to sign off. I'm like not even over here yet. I gotta come over here first. I wish like right now I could like make this guy go and like have a strike through him because we did it. We're pretty much done with it. So we're gonna come back to this, do some CSS and some Java, some HTML and CSS. These two guys, they're gonna be the focus. We'll do a little bit of that, just a little bit, but these guys are gonna be the focus. Okay, we're gonna make it look good, kind of polish it up, and then we're gonna end this and let you decide whether or not you're ready to be a developer. And if you've gotten this far and you're still pushing along and feeling okay, you're probably there. You're probably there. All right. I'm going to sign us off. See you next time. Enjoy a little bit of a break, maybe. Give yourself a brain break from this. And we'll catch you next time. See you in the next video.